But yeah.
And do you feel that because like your service is fractional CFO and it, it's like a C-level title,
Mm,
like for example, I wear like a fractional CTO hat for some
sure.
people and like depending on if how that goes, but I'm saying, do you feel like you get the mandate or like sometimes if you, I guess what I mean, the relationship has to be harmonious and they have to listen to you. So what is your secret for that? Like meaning,
Mm,
sometimes brands hire the right people, but then they don't listen to them or
right.
conditions, or, like you may hire someone and they're really good. They have past performance for someone else,
Yep.
but because of your own operational deficiencies or whatever culture fit, fa- people fit, like there's so many factors. So I'm curious, like, what is your goal? How do you establish that in the beginning of the relationship? Because
Well,
obviously everyone decided to take a risk on each other.
yeah. So there's a few things, and this is a really great question. Um, so I don't take off my earrings for any reasons, right? And I wear hats and t-shirts and jeans, and you know,
Yeah.
I'm pretty open with who I am, and I swear a bit more than I do on this, like on a live podcast typically, and I don't tend to change that, right? And so that's one thing, is people kind of get a pretty good idea of what I'm like as a person.
Hmm.
And so if you don't like swearing, and if you think earrings aren't professional, and then you're not going to work with me, and that's part of it. It's not why I have earrings, but um,
Imagine the shit Walt Disney said behind closed doors, right? No.
yeah, well, exactly, right.
Yeah.
So and then we try to understand what the client will be like as we do our sort of couple phone calls. And if we feel that there's not a vibe, we probably won't take the work. I mean, we're super
Yeah.
lucky to be able to say that. Um, and there's been times where we take whatever we can get, as you've probably been there
Of course.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but now we're really trying to make sure that we have a high degree of likelihood of success. So there's a client where they're in Asia Pacific, and they said, "Hey, can you work with us?" And I was like, "Great, yeah." Well, and so they showed me on behind the curtain a bit, and I was like, "There's a whole bunch of stuff that needs working on. Are you willing to do this, this, and this to get the success you want?" And they're like, "I don't know about this or this, but I'll try that." And I was like, "Hey, I don't think you're going to succeed if you don't try all those three things, and I can't work with you till you're willing to try those three things." And so we still don't work with them today, and they email us once in a while and say, "Have you done the two things?" And they say no, and I'm like, "I can't work with you yet." Um,
Well, that's cool that you could keep it cordial in that way. That's
yeah,
not like a binary thing. And also, I would say that's nice to not like the luxury of being able to say that to people, but more just like it's respectful because you're saving both
exactly.
parties time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, and obviously we figured this out by fucking it up, right? Like
Yeah,
basically,
obviously.
we had a client, this is maybe a year or two ago, and they joined us. They said, I was talking to them for a year, and all of a sudden they called us like, "I got 4 weeks of cash left. Can you help?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's give it a shot." And so we got in, and I was like, "Okay, your brother's paid too much. He doesn't do the work. Fire him. Uh, you're paying yourself too much. Cut your own salary. And these are the people on your team. You've already told me that they're not doing their job, and you're just worried about severance. So lay them off." And he's like, "Oh, well, no, 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 no." And I was like, "Well, what do you want me to do, man?"
Yeah.
And
Well,
we ended up parting ways after 3 months. But I was like, "You called me. You had 4 weeks of cash flow left. Like, you have to be willing to cut off your arm to save the whole body." And they weren't. And again, like, they're actually surviving now, and I think they're doing well. So fucking great. They probably found someone that was a better match for their personalities,
yeah,
and that's
or you don't
fine.
know. At the end of the day, it's not like there's only one right way. It's just
Of
like you
course.
said, you might suffer more, or you're going to go through more pain,
Yeah,
or you might limit some potential future outcome, or
sure.
it's a lot of unknowns and calculus behind it.
Yeah, and some people honestly, it's more important as a core value or family value to keep their brother on payroll than it is to just survive easily. And I understand that. And I don't begrudge that sentiment because,
Yeah, I mean loyalty. Yeah, exactly.
of
Like
course,
having a sense of
family. But for me, like kind of what I've seen and where I've been, it's like fire your bro and hire him back in a year. Like I
yeah.
just,
If it was meant to be, it's meant to be. Exactly. It's not like you're saying, oh, it's all your fault. It's that this is
of course,
it's business, right? So
yeah.
Um, yeah, that's painful, and I think a lot of founders could probably relate to difficult decisions, like especially e-commerce brand owners.
Hmm.
Like I've worked with a lot of folks over my years, and you see a lot of different decision making calculus, and you see like all of that, right? You see definitely people try to take care of their people as much as they can, but then
Mhm.
it comes to a point where you can't, and you just
Yeah,
have to make that business decision.
totally.
And that's why I think it's interesting what you said at the beginning of this call was the people with the leanest teams and over 70% gross margin
Yep.
are the ones that you see the happiest. And so I think a lot of people are saying that, like, hey, if you're starting a new brand right now, to only look at certain types of things like lighter products, all that list that people go down.
1000%.
And like, and that could be disheartening to some, or it could be like, hey, we're just saving you a world of hurt because everyone, because the channels are the channels and you can only get so far till you hit the problems that you would have in those verticals. Like, for example, furniture is a notoriously difficult vertical because it's low
Well,
margin and it's
totally.
very expensive shipping. Yet there's a lot of furniture business out there, but maybe the survival rate is lower or what have you. So
Yeah, I talked to a few furniture people in the past year, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you." Like, here's a few pieces of advice for what you can try to do, but like, I don't want
yeah,
to take
change
their
your name
money
to
and then.
IKEA.
Well, this is the thing. Like, I also there's a percentage, maybe 20% of people. I'm like, hey, look, I'm not going to take your money and fail for you. So like, here's some things that I would try. If it works and you want to chat in 3 months, let me know. But like, if I take your money now and I can't guarantee I can help you, I just don't want to do that. So
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a genuine guy. And I'm going to say it's quite refreshing to hear you talk, Matt. And this is going to be a plug for Drink Sip because Drink Sip is refreshing non alcoholic beer, who
oh,
also
cool.
happens to be on Shopify. You can get them. But no, but real talk, like it is refreshing because you speak so candidly and there's no pretension to this. So I think it's nice when you have a CFO or someone who's coming in to help you fix your company who doesn't put on these additional airs because then you probably feel more comfortable sharing. And so I feel like that builds trust.
Yeah, I mean, look, in as much as I'm very good at finance and numbers and stuff, I think the real secret is the getting along with people part of things. Like I was appointed as a CFO at 32, like by an external board, like not just some random startup, but like a board of really smart people
And
appointed
that
me.
was
And
at the metals company or at a different
no,
firm?
at,
Or
at
the
the
PE
at the metals
firm.
company, I was sweeping floors when I started, and I was like an ops when I left.
And then he was running the whole thing. So yeah,
Well,
that's a
I
whole
don't
other
know
life
about that,
lesson.
but yeah. And but yeah, no, I got appointed by a board, and again, honestly, it's more or less the ability to get along with people and build trust quickly is really been the thing. The finance part, sure. I mean, I love finance. It's my favorite thing to do ever. But the real secret is really like building rapport and being and it be like again, like when I am open about things, people reciprocate. And so then I get to I get to hear the problem under the problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And you've probably been there where someone comes in and they say, this is what's going on. And you know that it's like it's really this that's going on. So when you can get deeper than the surface level problems, you can really
Yep.
actually solve people's things. And that's been probably probably the most important part of all this.